Hey, Mary's here, founder of Web Highlights. Today I want to show you a really cool new feature that solves the problem we all have. We read a lot of stuff online, in online articles, PDFs, and more also ChatGPT conversations or AI conversations in general. So this also works with Claude, Gemini, whatever tool you're using. And it helps you to remember stuff and getting it into long-term memory by creating flashcards for you. So you might remember in school, you might have done it with physical flashcards even back then, and you had your learning system in a box where you try to get flashcards into the next level. You said, okay, I remembered this next level, or I don't remember, let's go back to level 1. And that helps you to actually remember stuff and getting it into your long-term memories to actually remember it. Because today, more and more, we are just asking questions to AIs, and we tend to not remember it because it's not worth keeping, because we can always ask again. But we want to, of course, also remember stuff. So yeah, let me give you an example. Like, for example, I read a book. So let's say, what are 10 concepts of the book Thinking Fast and Slow, which I recently read, can just recommend it. And ChatGPT gives us a big answer. We can scan it, but most likely we forget most of it. But if we say, hey, this is worth remembering, this conversation here now, we can use Web Highlights to generate flashcards for us. And by this, we open the Web Highlights sidebar, and we can use a quick action here to generate flashcards. And if we click it, it uses our private on-device AI. It's a built-in AI in Chrome, which also works in Edge. So it's basically a local AI model that is not talking to external servers. So this is completely on your local machine, and you don't have to worry about sending information to external companies like OpenAI, etc. It is completely local. It even works offline. And we can see already that in this case, we wanted to create 10 flashcards. That's the default. You can also switch it. If we switch it, it creates only 8. I changed that. Now it's creating 8 questions, and you can already see it basically summarized what we have in this conversation and put this together into question and answers. And here's like an example. What are the two main systems of thinking described in Thinking Fast and Slow? And it tells us, hey, there are two systems. One is fast, and okay, we don't have to go into detail here, but the cool thing is we have 8 flashcards now. We can also say, hey, this one is not worth keeping, we also don't need this, and then we create 6 flashcards. And now we have our learning deck, and here we can now click Start Learning, and this will get into a learning session of Web Highlights. You might even know this if you're using Web Highlights. This learning session isn't new, just this cool new generation of flashcards is new. And now we can go through those questions, and we can say, hey, we remember this. What is the cognitive ease and how does it influence our beliefs? We can tap to reveal answer, and we can go through it. We can also say, that's something I didn't remember, incorrect. And we can go through it. Let's click through those cards, and we end up in the completion of this session. We started a streak, and we can now see in our learning dashboard, which is filtered currently to the flashcards from this book, that our 6 highlights from this book are still likely to forget with a confidence of 15.8. And if we clear the filter, you can see I have many cards to review, and you can see what already is in long-term memory. You can see here some 112 cards of mine are already in long-term memory, and the goal is to get all your cards into long-term memory, which works by using a spaced repetition algorithm. It's called super MIMO algorithm, and it works similar as those physical flashcard boxes you know from the past. It shows you cards you didn't recall, shows you the next time earlier, but if you remember stuff more and more, it will put those cards back to the future far away. Like let's say you remember the card 5 times, it will ask you last time in 6 months, and if you remember it after 6 months, you're not asked again. So this is one way to do it. Another way is to create specific flashcards for one question. So let me give you some really simple example. We just want to know what is the capital of Germany, which hopefully everyone knows. And now we can use web highlights to highlight this answer. We highlight it here with the yellow, and it shows up in our sidebar. And now we can say, hey, I want to create a flashcard only for this question, and I could just fill the question here. So I could say, what is the capital of Germany? But I can also use AI here, and it will pre-fill question and answer based on this specific highlight. So this is really practical if you read something online, you know, okay, wow, this is important to know, and also important to know in 6 months. Then I will just click or like highlight this and then create a flashcard from it. You can say you can see that even the answer is a bit longer. What is the capital of Germany? Berlin is the main city and seat of government in Germany. Think of it like Washington DC. Okay, it even gives you analogies to maybe get this into memory easier. And we can save it. And from any page, you can also start a learning session which filters the flashcards to this question. And we obviously remember that Berlin is it. And yeah, that is the new feature. You can see also here that you can filter for specific pages you highlighted, but you can also say, hey, we only want to include flashcard that has questions and answers. In this case, it's 123, and we can start a learning session from here. Yeah. So, yeah, that's, in my opinion, a really good thing to remember and learn things by talking to or writing to AIs. And I hope you like it. If you have troubles with the AI models, the AI model getting to work, there's a troubleshooting guide in our documentation. You can go to our docs, to troubleshooting Chrome AI features, and here you can see what are the broader requirements. You can see that if you use it for the first time, it might take a while because it needs to download the model, but afterwards it's fast. You can saw it in my demo, and you need a bit of free disk space. So if you have problems, you can visit this page. I will also link it in the video. I hope you like it, and see you next time.